But first, let's start you off with news from the UN Security Council. The United Nations' most powerful body has imposed new sanctions on North Korea, deemed the toughest to date, over the rogue state's latest nuclear test in September. The 15-member council unanimously adopted a resolution to slash North Korea's biggest export, coal, by about 60%, with an annual sales cap of roughly $400 million. But for the measures to be effective, North Korea's longtime ally China has a key role to play. Our Kwon Jang-ho reports.
The UN Security Council's latest resolution contains some of the strongest measures yet to curb the regime's exports and cut off its stream of cash.
Today's resolution includes the toughest and most comprehensive sanctions regime ever imposed by the Security Council.
The resolution focuses on cutting the regime's exports by at least $800 million per year, or about a quarter of the exports total. This includes trade bans on minerals such as copper, nickel and zinc, as well as ships, helicopters and statues. But the primary target is coal. A cap has been set at 7.5 million tons, reducing the capacity by about $700 million.
It seems that the sanctions were aimed at particularly the trade in coal between North Korea and China, and this certainly makes an impact on the trade.
Almost all of North Korea's coal goes to China, worth over $1 billion in 2015. That means that for the new sanctions to have an impact, China's cooperation is once again essential, but there are concerns about how strict China will be.
I don't think illegal transactions between two countries, North Korea and China, would be, decreasing. China definitely thinks the regime collapse of North Korea is no good for the interest of China. And by that reason, North Korea, I think, would not stop, developing nuclear weapons.
There are also concerns about China's reaction to the deployment of THAAD, a controversial US missile defense system that is set to be installed in Korea next year, which China has strongly opposed.
If THAAD is deployed in South Korea, there is a question mark over how strongly China will be willing to implement the UN sanctions. Since the deployment of THAAD was announced, China has implemented its own trade bans on South Korea.
Experts warn that although Pyongyang's finances will likely be hit by the new sanctions, the regime's nuclear weapons development is expected to continue. And with the 5th anniversary of Kim Jong-il's death still to come later this month, the regime could carry out additional missile tests by the end of the year. Kwon Jang-ho, Arirang News.